The beds are doing their thing. Our watermelons, marigolds. I believe there's a couple of zinnias in there. Um, our nasturtiums are burning up, but these very center ones right there are from seed. Everything else are from seedlings. So the center are fresh seeds. Everything else is a seedling. I did do two beds the exact same way to increase our chances. So this is super exciting that we are seeing some growth. Now, these are the smaller varieties, so hopefully we will see some fruit within the next 100 days because we did start them super late in the season, but it's so exciting. They're doing a little something. Over here is our sweet potato beds, well, barrels. These are acacia whiskey barrels, and they are approximately 24 by 17, I think. And here we started the sweet potatoes. We did the sweet potato slips ourselves using organic sweet potatoes. You know, we did the whole poke the what do you call that, toothpick in there, let them sit in water. They sprouted the slips and the roots. We hardened them off and then we planted them up out here in these barrels. We have some marigolds in there to try and help with some pest prevention. We have some alyssum to try and help with attracting some pollinators. You know, it's so hot here. We started everything so late in the season, and I do believe that the heat is really causing us some problems. As you can see, the leaves are pretty scorched. They weren't growing for a while, so I had to hit them with a little NPK 10-10-10, which really helped tremendously in getting some new leaf production. And they were doing good, but of course it is July in the south, in northern Alabama, and it is hot and humid. So they're still getting a little bit scorched. We've had it, we've added umbrellas to the plants to give them a little bit of protection. This bed here, it's the weakest of them all. The umbrella is not really offering too much protection here. I do have a second one just like this one. I just need to go and fish it out of my garage to give it a little bit of a break. But, you know, this is definitely heat damage. So, you know, we're going to give it, I did fertilize it last night. And we've been watering twice a day to try and give them a little bit of added protection. But, you know, they're struggling. Look at my poor little marigold. I have given it a little bone meal also to try and help boost the blooms and give the roots a little something to hold on to. So we're trying, you know, we're going to try and keep all three of them alive. We're not expecting a huge harvest, but even if we can, you know, get one barrel full of healthy sweet potatoes, that would be so wonderful for our first season. So let's go just take a little walk around the garden, shall we? And, you know, I've decided that I'm going to take it easy. Look at the pup. He's in this little, we're riding him around because he's struggling with his legs, but he needs to come outside and get a little air. Sit down, poopy doop. So we're going to just take him in his little buggy. Sit down, buddy. Sit down. Sit down, buddy. Come on. So we're going to take it slow because it's now too hot to really try and push it. So if we have to plant out the main beds in fall, that's fine. I will go ahead and finish getting hold on, pup. Getting the bags planted out with all of the seedlings that are already ready. This little tomato plant is suffering in the heat. I'm going to give it a little bit of a prune. I did give it some more fertilizer. We're going to keep watering it every day. But again, the heat is just terrible. These two bags, I just planted up. I want to say, I think these are 2 weeks old. And these are squash plants, marigolds, nasturtiums. They're doing really, really good. They're putting on blooms already. I did fertilize them with a little bit of bone meal because I'm trying to ensure that they produce some female flowers. Mostly what's happening here is we're getting so many male flowers and not enough female flowers. And then when we do get the female flowers, because this yard is pretty barren, it's not a lot of flowers or trees or anything yet, we're not getting the pollinators necessary to try and take care of them. So I've been trying to catch them early in the morning and get them hand pollinated, which feels so weird. But, nature is amazing, so we make it work. These two whiskey barrels, I just brought them out. I just sealed them up, but again, the heat is killing them. I need to reseal them. And what I typically do, because, they're an investment and I want them to last. I don't want to worry about them rotting out as quickly as they would if I didn't protect them. I seal them with linseed, raw linseed oil, and it really makes all the difference. Now these, I could have put another coat on, and I will put another coat on them before I plant them out. They do have holes in the bottom. I think I will put another couple of holes just to make sure. I plan on putting putting my apple tree in here, and then some more trees as they come, as we order them in. Our ground here is rock hard. It's full of big, huge rocks and limestone and red clay. So it's just not the ideal growing condition. So I do plan on planting them out in their ideal soil, which if you guys are not using technology to your benefit when it comes to your growing, you're missing out. I literally can search, ideal growing conditions for a Macintosh apple tree. And it'll say, loamy soil. Well, okay, what's loamy soil? It is, equal parts sand, compost, and topsoil. And so I could literally create the growing condition that is most conducive to producing healthy fruit. And then I can say what types of fertilizers will apple trees benefit from. Do they benefit from worm castings alone? Is it something that I should be adding extra, NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, or potassium? And literally tells me the ratios that I should be including, the ideal transplanting time, how to prune it. I can take pictures of the leaves and be like, tell me what's going on with this apple tree. It's amazing. Use technology to your benefit. Here are some seedlings that I started earlier than I was ready to get them planted out. I had to just recently get them potted up. I got to get some liquid fertilizer in here to give them a shot. Like this one dried out. This one is getting hot. It's just like too much. You get excited with all the seeds and wanting to plant and grow. And then the heat comes in and you're like, okay, what am I supposed to do now? My little rack of seedlings, because it was more affordable for me to order seeds and get them planted than it was for me to go and buy a ton of plants. The problem is it took me longer than necessary to get them planted because, I'm having to do I got to move all this soil myself. So that's going to be super fun. Over there is mushroom compost, composted cow manure, raised bed mix, potting soil mix, and then in the house I have 30 bricks of coconut coir that has to be hydrated, and then all the bags of fertilizer and everything, all the worm castings, it's all in the garage, because I have to build out my soil that way. Being that, I couldn't have bulk soil delivered, I had to go the bag route. We all know the super premier bag soils are super costly. And for the quantity that I needed for all of my beds, bags, barrels, and pots, it just wasn't affordable. Sorry about the mess. This is what it looks like while you're in the building process. We use my late dad's wheelchair to help us help us out with some of the heavy lifting. on top of the gorilla card. So there's a gorilla card right there buried under the junk. And what I've been using this one for is really fun. This one is the, what do you call it? The GCG 12. So it's like, I think it may be the largest of the gorilla cards. I'm not sure, but I've been using it to my benefit to help me accomplish some things. So, because I have to, blend the soil components that, I want my plants to grow up in, again, using technology to my benefit, I have been using the gorilla card as a workstation. So I just put the tarp in there, and what's in here now is 1 cubic foot of mushroom compost, 1 cubic foot of composted cow manure, 4.5 cubic feet of coconut coir, worm castings. I'll be adding my NPK. Okay, puppy, I'm coming. I'll be adding my NPK 10-10-10 fertilizer in the mix. I'm going to be adding half that bag of sand, perlite, vermiculite. All of those things are necessary in my particular climate. I'm using sand as well as perlite and vermiculite because we do get a lot of rain here. And of course, vermiculite holds on to moisture. Perlite helps with aeration. But because this bagged compost and bagged mushroom compost is really thick and clumpy and heavy, I needed the sand to help keep it loamy. I needed to lighten it up. The coconut coir and the sand is lightening it up so that it resembles more of a potting mix than, what it started off as, because it started off like like you look here, the whole bag, as you dump the bag out, it looked like this. I had bought a sifter thinking I would be sifting the soil to get the big clumps out, but there's no sifting that. It was clumpy and wet and heavy, so I had to go through manually, break everything up, taking out the big pieces of forest material, and then going through and just kind of breaking the rest of it up with like my shovel and my rake and my hoe. And then now it's at a point I'm trying to let it dry out a little bit before I add the sand. And then once I add the sand, it will be ready to plant out. Now I did sift some of it out and into this grow bag here, which this is a 20-gallon grow bag. And so this is what the soil looks like now that I've gone through and gotten all the big pieces of junk out. You still see like the fibers from the coconut coir, which I don't mind. But it's a lot lighter. I still need to add some sand to this one, the perlite, vermiculite, and the fertilizer here. But this is what I want my soil to look like. So it's more like a potting mix than, the big pieces of wood and sticks and stuff that normally come in these types of products. But that particular bag, it's pretty huge. It's double the size of those. And in those bags, there's 2 squash plants. Now, ideally, I would say put 1 in, but I was trying to save those seedlings before I lost them. So I just potted them up. I'll stake them, keep them pruned, really take good care of them so that they make it. Now, in this particular bag, I'll more than likely put like a main crop, a supporting crop. What I'm trying to do is plant something that's going to be taller to cast some shade, of course, the companion flowers and herbs, and then the main crop. So this might get like a pepper, an eggplant, some nasturtiums, calendula, zinnias, and that's kind of how we'll treat it. Maybe some onions and chives to kind of protect the others, maybe a basil. So I'm just covering it up with plastic until I'm ready to work on it. I hadn't planned on coming out in the garden today because I had a hard day at work. I'm not feeling well. I kind of have like a little summer cold, but you know, with the garden, you kind of have to take care of it. You can't, there's no day off. So let's go over here. Here are the flowers that we grabbed from Lowe's, or excuse me, Home Depot the other day. When we got them home, we realized that these zinnias had powdery mildew. So we didn't buy them for the sake of cutting or, you know, anything other than attracting pollinators. So we just pruned them up, gave them some fresh potting soil with fertilizers and worm castings. I'm going to spray them with, look at my butterfly. Do you see him? I'm going to spray. My butterfly, she's partaking of the echinacea. And of course, we bought the echinacea for the sake of attracting pollinators. But what I was saying is these plants were in bad shape. I didn't throw them away because I figured, you know, for what they're intended for, in terms of, you know, attracting the pollinators, they're fine. You know, I will eventually just get rid of them once they're completely spent. But they're pretty. Look at that one. So pretty. And these over here were crusty, crunchy, fried, half dead. I pruned all the bad stuff off, gave them some fertilizer, plenty of water, and they're totally growing back. So are those over there. This is our potato, one of our potato plants. It's about ready to be harvested. That pile there is the remnants of 2 bags of potatoes. One of our 2 sunflowers. She just got fertilized, so hopefully she will continue to grow and get big and strong. We do have another one over there. I'm hoping she's going to be the mammoth. More potatoes, a yellow zucchini, patty pan squash, tomatoes, okra. What else is over there? Cucumbers on the trellises there. But the star of the show right now that's really been helping us out are these umbrellas. Because I didn't have a solution for adding shade cloth because it's almost impossible to hammer anything into this ground, I elected to order these particular umbrellas. They are 15 by 9, and it's been a godsend. You know, it's saving the plants because they were frying. These over here, and please forgive me for sniffling. Anytime I come outside, my nose starts running. I'm not used to the heat. So we ordered 2 of these umbrellas because I didn't want everything to burn up. And they really have been really good. They weren't too difficult to hang or to assemble. We had these umbrellas that we got the year we moved in. They're really pretty. They match the house. They're like a taupe color and white. Love them. Have a second one in the garage somewhere. So, you know, we have to watch these to make sure that the wind doesn't blow them over. And it looks like there is a bee that's hanging out up there. I don't know what he's hanging out there for. There's flowers over there. There's a buffet. Go get it. So anyway, if you are in a situation where your plants are roasting and you can't add shade cloth, this has been a solution that is worth looking into, you know, putting the umbrellas up. We're going to put 2 more of those 60-gallon grow bags, which can also be treated as raised beds. 2 more of those in this space, and then I'm going to mulch it all. This space here will eventually, right here, will eventually be the raised beds. But again, it's just too hot right now. I work full time, so I'm literally trying to take care of all of this after work in the heat. And it's just not happening as fast as I would like. We had to prune all of the flowers off because the first day we got, or the second day we had them, a heat wave came through. We hadn't got the umbrellas up yet, and it literally fried them to death. So even if you look at the flowers, you see the leaves, the petals are a little bit burnt. Again, it's for the pollinators, so I'm not too concerned with them being beautiful. But look at that beautiful butterfly. She is beautiful. So they're working. But yeah, that's where we are so far. Got our sunflower. Hopefully she will bloom. I'm doing everything I can to save her. I started several sunflowers early. I wasn't ready for them, so they of course did not make it. So she is one of two. But it's happening. But anyway, that's what we have going on today on the corner of Whymsy and Blyss. I hope you all are well. I hope you're spending time in your gardens. Prune something, plant something, weed something, water something. Everything counts, and everything is worth it. So, anyway, more to come from the corner of Whymsy and Blyss. Bye.